Hey, hello everyone, and hello YouTube as well. Welcome back to the challenge. Not really challenge, but welcome back to the channel. And we are live on Twitch. Okay, fantastic. So today we are going to be doing a Frontend Mentor challenge, their latest challenge, in fact, called Crowdfunding Product Page. And I think it looks pretty nice. And I've decided I'm going to do this using tailwindcss because it's going to be much easier to add our styling. And yeah, that's basically going to be it. I haven't tried this challenge yet. I've just seen that they've updated their website with this new challenge probably around 3 days ago, and I was trying to keep myself from attempting it offline because I wanted to do it live on stream. So if you head over to frontendmentor.io/challenges, then you should find this as the first challenge. So all you have to do is just click it and then click on start challenge. I need to be logged in, and of course you need to be logged in as well before you can download the starter files. And then just click start challenge and it should download the files for you. Get started, and you can see that this is my first attempt, so there's no cheating involved. And once we're done with this, I want to commit this to GitHub, and then I want to host it on Netlify and then submit this challenge back on Frontend Mentor so that we can get the points that we get. So download starter files, and it should head over to my downloads folder. Where is it? Right here. So actually I can just extract it right here. So I'm going to extract the files. Where is it? Why is this so hard? And then just open this with Visual Studio Code. Okay, so one thing I should mention is that I'm going to be building this using React JavaScript, and I've already done my canvassing of my React application. So if I open my terminal right here, you'll notice that I've already done npx create React app. This is the command, and I've called the application crowdfunding. So all you need to do is run this command and then give whatever name you want for your application, and then it should come as a React application for you. So right away, I'm going to say, I'm going to say cd into crowdfunding, which is the name of my application, and then just open Visual Studio Code like that. And then I'm going to close up this terminal. And then once I open Visual Studio Code here, I should have opened my the files, the design files that you get from Frontend Mentor as well. So we have the design files, which has everything. Basically, we have our images, we have the git ignore, we have our index.html, which you don't really need. We have a README, and we have the style guide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this to the side, right? And then I'm going to place this on the other side, which is basically my React application, because I just want to copy and paste right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my design here, my design folder, and as well as the images folder and the style guide, and I'm just going to copy and then just paste them all inside here. And then I'm going to open this README, and I'm going to Control A, which will select everything, and then just copy this. And then inside this README from my React application, I'm going to select everything and just paste it inside. So that we have the README from the Frontend Mentor instead of the one that comes with our React application. So I'm going to save this, and then let me see what's remaining. For the git ignore, actually we need this as well. So I'm going to Control A and select everything, and then in this git ignore, let me close this. I'm going to paste it at the bottom so that I don't replace anything that we have on the top. So I'm going to paste this in, and then I need to change these lines from line 5 to 29, and this to 30, and then this should say line 36. Okay, so I'm going to save that, close this down and close this down, open this up once again, and then what do we say? Let me check if there's anything that we need from our index.html, and it's basically the text that is available in application. So I'm going to keep this open, just place it full screen like that, and place this full screen as well. And right away I'm going to start my React server. So I'm going to say npm start so that we can just start working on this right away. And then what do we need? I want to use tailwindcss for my styling. So let me grab the CDN. I'm going to use the CDN because this isn't really a large application. So cdnjs.com, head over to cdnjs.com and then just search for tailwind css and it should give you the link tag. So just copy the link tag right there, close this down and then head over to your public folder and then grab the index.html. Let me close this. And then where do I paste it? Actually, let me remove this. We don't need this. And we do not need this as well. So I'm just going to paste it right there. So this is Tailwind CSS. And then for this title, I'm going to say crowdfunding product page. Let me actually check how this is called. Let me copy this title and then paste it inside here. What else do we need? We need our favicon. Not really a big deal. Attribution isn't really a big deal either. And yeah, I think that's basically going to be it. We have quite a bit of work to do for this now that I come to realize it. Okay, so this is going to remain open. This is going to remain open, right? And then we should open up our application and remove this comment. Okay. So let me check what type of icons they use. This is the bookmark icon, the check icon, the close menu, close model, icon hamburger. Okay, so all of this, it looks doable. Okay, so let me check our server. I'm going to place this to the side so that I can style it as mobile first. Place this on this other side. So let's take a look at our design so that we actually see what we're building out. And I want to start with the mobile design first. Okay, so this is the mobile design. A simple image with a header that is positioned absolute to this image. Okay, we have this section. We have some cards. This is a white background. Okay, the bamboo pledge. Okay, this looks doable. Okay, and this is grayed out because it's out of stock. Okay, mobile menu. Let's take a look at the mobile menu. Simple enough. This is just positioned absolute and it's toggled using this. So this isn't really hard, really. It's not all that hard. So okay, so let's begin by creating our header component first. So inside actually let me break our application first so that we don't need to do it once we get started with the project. So I'm going to delete this file. I'm going to delete app.css, app.test.js, the logo, report with vitals, and the setup test. Delete all of this. And then I am going to go into app.js and I'm going to remove these two imports. And then I'm going to remove all of this, return a fragment with an h1 that says crowdfunding. Just save that and then go into index.js, remove this because we've deleted it, and then remove this as well. Save this and this should now work. And we should see crowdfunding. Okay, so that's looking nice. That's looking nice. Let me take our images and we need our logo. Where's our logo? This is the logo for crowdfunding, which should be open up. Come on. It should be this. I think so, crowdfund. So what I'm going to do is copy this logo from here, copy it, and then inside my source folder, I'm going to create a new folder, and call this images like that, and then just paste the logo inside this folder, right? So that now I can close this and I can close this, and then I can go inside my source folder once again and create a new folder called components. So I'm going to call this folder components like that. And inside this components folder, I'm going to create a new file called header.js. Okay, so header.js is going to basically, header.js is going to be our logo right there, as well as our icon. And then we're going to have a drop-down menu for the list of items in our menu, which is basically this. So that's not so hard to do. So I'm going to say RAFCE, which comes from a React extension called, a Visual Studio Code extension called React Redux ES7 GraphQL and something. This one right here is called ES7 React Redux GraphQL and React Native Snippets. So that's the name of this extension that you can install it so that you can run such a similar command so that you don't have to keep writing the same piece of code over and over again. Okay, so I'm going to go back into this, and inside my header, I want to import the logo, which remember I pasted inside my source folder, inside the images folder. So I'm going to say import logo, and this is coming from, it should be in images, not data, and it should be called logo.svg. That should be it, right? And then inside here, I'm going to return a fragment and then return a header. And inside this header, I'm going to return a div, and this div will have our image. So the source for this is going to be the logo, which I've just imported, right? And then below this div, I'm going to have a navbar. And this navbar for now is going to have our icon, which I forgot to paste inside here. So let me check where it is. Inside images, it should be icon hamburger. So I'm going to grab this, copy this, and then just paste it inside this images folder. Paste it inside like that. And then I need to import it. So I'm going to say import hamburger from images / icon dash hamburger.svg. Okay, and inside here I just want to render this icon, so I'm going to say render the image inside here, and it's called hamburger like that. So I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to go into app.js just to see whether I'm returning anything from my component. And I want to change this into an arrow function first of all. So I'm going to say const app equals to this, and then set my arrow function like that. Simple. And then I want to import my header component, which I've just created. So import header from coming from component / header. Remember, with the React version 17 and above, we don't need to import React from React at the top. So this is completely fine. And then notice that this is grayed out, and that's because I'm not really rendering it. So I want to remove this and then just render out my component by saying header like that. So let me save this. Let's open up our application, and we should see the crowdfunding. Okay, so we see something which is right there, and the reason why we can't really see anything is because it's white, and this is a white background. So let me just do something cheesy here so that you can see that we're actually returning something. So inside the header, I'm going to give this a class name of bg black because we're using tailing css, and you should see this right there. So this is fine. And then right away, let me just style it. I'm going to say return this as a flex so that it goes into they become 2 flex items. And then I'm going to say items center so that this pushes down just a bit so that it's completely centered. And then I'm going to say justify between, and this should go to the end. So looking nice. And then let me say padding on the X of 5 and padding on the Y of let's say 8 should be enough. Too much maybe, but it's fine, really. It's fine. Let's take a look at this. This is the menu. I want the design. Okay, so look at that. So right away, because I don't want to keep on using this black background color, I want to do the showcase right away, which has this image. So obviously I'm going to create a new component inside my components folder, and this file structure is really distracting. It's really distracting. So inside my components folder, I'm going to create a new file and call this showcase.js. And remember that the showcase has a background image, so this iMac right there, or whatever the computer this is called. So I would need to find that image, and that image should be image hero mobile, because we'll be dealing with the mobile version first. So I need to import this image, so I'm going to copy this, and then paste it inside my images folder, which is inside my source folder. I'm going to paste this in, and then I'm going to go into showcase and say RAFCE once again, and then import the image at the top. So I'm going to say import mobile hero from it's coming from images. Go up on folder and then call this what's its name, image dash hero dash mobile dot jpeg, right there. Okay, wait, am I doing this correctly? Yeah, this should be fine. This should be fine. So I'm going inside here, I'm going to turn a section, right? And then inside this section, I'm going to return a div. Should I return a div? Is it really necessary? I don't think so. Let me return an image, and this, the source for this image will be mobile hero, which you have just imported. And let me save this, and let me go inside app.js and then render my showcase components. I'm just going to copy this down, grab this and call this showcase like that, and then below the header I'm just going to render my showcase component, and we should see it right there. Look at that, looking nice, looking fine. But now the next thing that we need to do is now position this header as absolute, so that it goes so that this image goes behind the header. Don't know whether that makes sense, but let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to go back into my header component, and then I'm going to remove this black background color, so we won't be able to see this once again, but remember they're still there. So what I want to do is position this as absolute. And once I save this, you'll notice that this will move up, because this position absolute makes sure that the header doesn't take up any space on the web page. So let me save that, and look at that. So it goes behind the header, and now we're able to see this. And the reason why this is no longer at the end is because, like I said, it doesn't take up any space on the web page. So in order to make sure that this goes to the end, we need to give it a fixed width, and I'm going to say width of full. We should take it back to the end. Look at that, looking very nice. Let me increase the size for this. I'm going to go inside this this image right here, give this a class name of what, let me say width 48. How big is that? Oops, too big. Let's say width 16. Nope, really, width 5, width 6. I think 6 should be fine. Okay, now remember that this icon is our toggle button. Therefore, we should create some kind of model like this right there, so that we can toggle it, right? So let me do that right away. I'm going to say return another. You know what? Instead of a nav here, let me return a div, and then place this above the div. So I'm going to return a navbar with the ULs here with 3 LIs, should be 3 LIs, saying about, discover, and get started. So I'm going to say this is about. Remember, these links don't really go anywhere. That's why I'm not placing hrefs. Okay. What was it about? Discover and get started. Discover and get started, like that. And once we save this, then this should appear in the middle. It should appear in the middle right there. So looking nice. And once again, I want to take this out of the normal flow of our web page, because this is positioned absolute. I don't know whether you can see it, but it's positioned absolute, or at least I think so. So I'm going to go inside this navbar, give this a class name of absolute, like that. We should place it right there, as you can see. And then let me say inside this UL, let me give this a class name of text white. Actually, no, not text white, but bg white, right? Bg white. And let's see, let me say width of full. Oops, is that not correct? Nope, because this width of full should be here. Okay, there you go. So instead of width full, let me say width of 75%, which is about 9/12, right? And then let me say margin left of 10. Let's see that. Let's say 16. And then let's say position it on the top. Position on the top by 10 should be. Is it 10? Oops. Is this not working? This is not working. Let me say margin top of 10. Let's say 20. Let's say 32. And then let's go inside this and let's say for this, let me give this a class name of shadow large, which will give it a box shadow. Does it? A very slight box shadow. Let's say 2XL for the box shadow. It's more visible. Let me check what else is here. We need to have some underlines here, which is a border bottom really, and then a rounded border. So let me go back inside here. Let me give this a class of rounded dash 2XL. Oops, 2XL. Okay, let me say padding on the X of 5 and padding on the Y of 5 as well. I guess 5 should be fine. Okay, let me increase this margin on the top here. Let's say 40. And then let me go inside this individual list items. So I'm going to grab all 3 of them, give this a class name of padding on the Y of let's say 5. Let's see how that looks. Is that big? Too big? Let's say padding on the Y of 3. Padding on the Y of 3. Okay, let's give it a border bottom with a border gray of 200. Look at that. So we have our border looking very nice. Now the reason why this doesn't go to the end is because remember we have a padding on the UL, the parent element of 5 on the left and right. So if I remove this padding on the X of 5, this should go to the end, which means therefore I should add some padding here, here, and here. Let's see if this will work. Padding on the X of 5, which will move it inside. So looking nice, looking very nice. Let me increase the margin on the top as well. I don't want this last one to have a padding bottom, so let me remove this. A border bottom rolling, not padding bottom. So let me remove that line, and then let me reduce the padding on the top and bottom on the UL. So padding Y here, let me say padding Y of 3. Reduce it just a bit, and let me increase this to 44 or 48. Nope, 56. Once you use Tailwind CSS a lot, you get used to these classes. That's basically it. Okay, and yeah, that should be it. That should be. Let me just give this a cursor of pointer so that we have cursor pointer on each of these. So I'm going to go inside the list items here, here, and here, and say cursor dash pointer, and we should have that so that they behave like links even though they're not technically links. So we should have that. Now all we need is a way to toggle this so that it only opens once we click this. So we can do that in React using state values, and we do that using the use effect hook if you're using in functional components. That is, if you're using class components, that's a whole different deal. So I'm going to import use state at the top here, and then set up my state values, and I'm going to say const is open, meaning if this is open, and then say set is open, which is the function that controls this value, and then equals to use state, and by default this is going to be is it false? Yeah, by default it's going to be false because I don't want this to be open when you load the web page. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is add a click event on the image right here, and we're going to test for whether this is open or not, and then just give it the opposite value. So I'm going to say here on click, right? On click, I'm going to set up my inline function, and we're going to be targeting the function that controls our state value. So we're targeting set is open. So I'm going to say right here set is open, and then inside here I want to pass in the opposite value of whatever is open is set to. meaning if it is set to false, then I want to pass into true, and if it is set to true, then I want to pass it down to false, and that's basically how we toggle this. So I'm going to set inside here, set it to whatever is the opposite of is open. So exclamation is open, so just set it to the opposite of whatever is open is. Now if I save this and try to click this, nothing happens, and the reason why nothing happens is because this is working correctly as we would expect, but it's not toggling anything. So what we need to do is, because we know that our navbar right here is what we want to toggle, we need to grab it and then just set up a bit of JavaScript, and we say if is open is true, right? Only and only when it is true, that's when we want to show our navbar. So that's just how you do it. Now once I save this, actually let me give this a class name of cursor pointer on the image as well, cursor dash pointer. But if you've already tried it, you'll notice that this is working. Would you look at that? So our toggle is working correctly as we would expect. So that's going to be basically it for this section, and we can now move on to, let me close this. We can now move on to the next section, not this one. Really? I thought we can now move on to the next section, which is basically this. Okay. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. Do I want to hard code this, or do I want to have some kind of progress bar? Okay, for this one, for this section right here, I definitely need to have some kind of local data, because I don't want to keep on writing this over and over again. Okay, so let's go over to this next section. What should I call this section? I'm just going to call it section 1. It's not really that big of a deal. So inside my components folder, I'm going to create a new file and call this section 1.js, like that. And then let me see, where was it? Really? Wait, what am I doing? Oh, I want this right there. I don't know whether this is the Mastercraft logo. Let me see if I have it in my images here. Logo mastercraft.svg. So I need to import this logo. So I'm going to copy this logo from here and then just paste it inside here. And I've just noticed that I also need the bookmark logo. Where is my bookmark? Here. So copy this and then paste it inside here as well, so that we have those two logos available to us. And then inside my section 1, I'm going to do RAFCE once again, and then I'm going to import Mastercraft. So I'm going to say import Mastercraft, which is the logo, and this will be coming from images and logo dash mastercraft.svg. Let me place this full screen and let me open this up. Close this, and then let me see, how is this design? So we have a simple card which has the logo positioned to the top right there. We have a title, we have a description, and we have a button and the bookmark logo. That shouldn't be too hard to create, or so I say. Okay, let's return a fragment here. Let's return an h2 that says Mastercraft Bamboo Monitorizer, Mastercraft Bamboo Monitorizer. Make this capital. Below this, actually, you know what? I opened this up somewhere here. So now that we have done this, I don't need this. So we have done this, and we need this now. Okay, so let me go back here and paste this in. And then below this, we need two buttons saying back this project and the bookmark icon. So inside here, actually, let me turn a let me grab all of this, return a section for this, and then grab this and place it inside a div, so that I have another div that has a button and this button should say back this project. Cut this out from here, paste it in, and then this other one should have an image that says did I import it? Where's my bookmark image? Did I import the bookmark image? Let me paste this down, grab this and change this to bookmark, and this is called icon dash bookmark. Let me just confirm that, icon dash bookmark.hvg, and this should say bookmark like that. And then finally we need our Mastercraft logo at the top, so I'm going to just return it inside here and say return an image, and the source for this is going to be Mastercraft like that. So let me save that and let me go into app.js and just render this. Copy this down, change this to section 1, oops, and then change this to section 1 to render it like that. So let's save that and let's see what we get. Okay, cool. So we have our Mastercraft logo, we have the title, and then we have the paragraph, and then we have our button right there, and then our bookmark icon. So now that we have that, I can place this back to the side and then we can begin styling it. So let me close this showcase. Let me close the header, the icon hamburger, and the index.js and the index.html. Okay, so let's see how this is styled. Okay. So this has a white background. What is the background color of the body? Actually, I didn't check that. I did not check that. Let me check our style guide. The primary, the neutral, the body copy font size is 16 pixels. Okay. Okay, so I don't think the body has the body. Okay, the body does have a background color. That's why this white is visible. So I'm just going to give it a very light gray. So let me go into my index.css, and remove this actually, and remove this, and remove this. And then inside here, I'm going to say, give this a background color of, what's the tailwind CSS gray, F3, F4, F6, that should be it. There you go. So it's very, very light gray. So inside this section, I'm going to give this section a class name of BG White. There you go. So we have BG White ending right about there. And then once we have BG White, I'm going to say padding on the X of 5. Right, push it inwards just a bit. Actually, not padding on the X, but margin, because I want the white to push inwards as well. And then I'm going to say padding on the X of 5 so that this now move inwards away from the white border. And then give this a class of rounded dash large, right? And let me say margin. I want a negative margin on the top so that this moves upwards into this section. So I'm going to say minus margin top of, let's say 20. Let's see how this looks. So that we have that. I would have thought that the white background color would have moved along with that, but that is not the case. I'm not going to stress over it very much. So let me just go into my button first of all, give this a class name of BG green dash 500 and rounded dash full, and then padding on the Y of 2, padding on the X of 4, so that we have this right there, and then text white. Right, let me see how this button looks. So text white, this is not really green. That's not really green. Let me go into my style guide, and we want dark cyan. So I need this, and then go inside my index.css, and then give this a class of btn. I'm going to say background color, background color, set this to this like that. Go back into my section 1, remove this, and just give this a class of btn, so that we have that looking nice, looking very nice. Okay, what do we need to do now? I need to go inside this div, give this div a class name of flex, so that this will go to this side right there, looking nice. And then let me say justify between, We should place this to the end. Okay, actually, is that correct? Is that correct? That's the correct design. I should think so. I should think so. The reason why this is closer to the bookmark icon is because this is 375 pixels while this is 500 pixels. So take note of that. Okay, let me increase the padding here on the x-axis to 6. Let me reduce this to 1. Let's see how this looks. Did that reduce? Did it? Okay, that's fine. Okay, let me now go inside this div, give this div a class name of padding top of 5 and padding bottom of, let's say, 3. So that we have that, let me go inside this h2, give this h2 a class name of text dash center and font dash bold, and let's increase the text size. So text, let's say text XL. Right, that's looking nice. Let me go inside this paragraph, give this paragraph a class name of text dash center, like that. Bring it to the center. Let me increase the padding on the bottom here of 2 so that this pushes away just a bit from the paragraph. Now I want to go inside this section, give this section a class of relative. Okay, there you go, so that we can now see our white background. And the reason why I gave this a class of relative is because I want this image positioned absolute to the center right there. So I'm going to say, where's my image? This is my image right here. So I'm going to say give this a class name of absolute, which should now position it right there. Okay, or not, because I have some padding on the x-axis. And then I'm going to say left. What is left? Left over half. Does that work? Okay, left over half, and then transform. Actually, wait, what's the class for it? Transform. I can't seem to remember the class for it. Okay, you know what? Because I can't remember the class for it, let me give this a class of Mastercard, not Mastercard, Mastercraft dash logo, so that I can go inside my CSS, give this a target the class of Mastercraft dash logo, and then say position absolute, and then position to the left of 50%, position to the top by -10%. Let's see that. Okay, so it's positioned to the top of -10. Let's say -12. How is this design? The M is just it's on the same line as the background color. So let me increase this. Let me increase this to 15, 16. Okay, and then say transform and translate on the x-axis by -50%, which should now center it back. So there we go, looking nice. So let me go back into my section 1 and increase the padding on the top of this to 10, which should push this downwards. And look at that, so that we have this. And I've just noted that I don't have a padding bottom, so let me increase the padding bottom on the section. Where should I add it? Right here. So let me say PB of 10. And there we go. And obviously now reduce this. CSS can be a bit confusing sometimes, but you know, if it works, it works. Okay, so now that we have this section, then we need to now create this next section. So for this next section, I can close this down. For this next section, I can call this section, let me call this backers.js, say array_fce once again. And do we need to import anything? No, we do not. This is basically all of it. It's basically just numbers, so that should be fine. So inside backers.js, once again, return a fragment and then return a section. Return a section inside here. Let me see what I have. So we have done this, right? So we need this. Oops, we need this. So I'm going to return a h2 that says this. Is that a good idea? Is that a good idea? Let me return a paragraph. Let me return a paragraph and another paragraph that says this, like that, and then the final paragraph that says 56 days left. Paste that in, and we have about this project. Okay, then finally our progress bar. So let me just place a comment below this and say progress bar. Let me save that, minimize this, and go back into my app.js, copy this down, grab this and call this backers, and then render it right here and say backers, like that, and we should see this. Okay, so let's begin styling it. So how is this being styled? Okay, so it's basically the numbers are inside spans, which make it bigger, and then we have finally this outside. So let me grab, oops, wait, what? Okay, I see you. So it's basically this, grab this, place it inside a span, grab this inside a span, grab this, place it inside a span, and then just target all of these three spans. Give this a class name of font dash bold, and then text dash 4XL. Let's see that. And then go inside this section, give this section a class name of text center. Actually, is that a good idea? First of all, let me give it a class name of BG white so that you can see where it is, and then add a margin top of 20. Separate it out from this, that's too large, let's say 10. And then let me say margin on the x-axis of 5 so that it pushes inwards. Let me say padding on the x of 5 and padding on the y of 10, so that we have this. Okay, looking almost amazing. Now let me go inside here and place a line break so that this will go to the next line, and right inside here once again place another line break, like that, and finally inside here place another line break like that. And then inside this section I'm just going to say text center. Wait, this is going to be a problem. Oh wait, no, because I'm inside block elements. Okay, so it shouldn't be fine. I was thinking about scaling it up, but this should be fine. Let's see. So that we have this, and I've just realized I didn't change the font, but that's okay. Let me add a border bottom for these, for each of them. Let me go inside this paragraph, give this a class name of border dash bottom, and then border dash gray dash 200. Nope. Let me say that's not really good. Let me remove this. Let me say underline. No. Nope. That is not what I want. I'm just going to have that for now. I think I could have done this a better way. You know what? I think I could have done this a better way. Instead of saying here text center, let me say display flex. Okay, then item center, and then justify center, and then flex columns so that they go in column form, like that. And then now let me try and do this class name of border bottom, and then border dash gray dash 200. Okay, there you go, so that we have that. And then I can just copy this and then paste it inside here and inside here as well, and then go inside these three classes and then say padding bottom of 3, which will push it away just a bit from the border bottom, right? Now let me go inside this second paragraph and the third paragraph and add a margin top of 5. which will just separate them now just a bit more so that we have that looking nice. And let me add a rounded border on this background color. So I'm going to go inside here and say rounded dash large. Give this a rounded border. Actually, do they have box shadows? Do they? They don't have box shadows, but they do have a border. They do have a border. So let me go back into right inside here and just say border. Actually, that's the class border. And we should have a border. There you go. Very faint. I can increase it by saying border dash 2 so that we have that much more visible. Grab this and go inside my section 1 component and then just paste it inside here so that we have a border. Okay, looking very nice. Close this. And then we need to add a progress bar. How do we add a progress bar? How do we add a progress bar? I can do something cheesy. I can do something cheesy inside here. Let me remove this. And then let me just place it. Let me see if I can place it inside here and say return a div. Okay. And this div is going to have a width. Oops. Class name here for this div is going to have a width of 9/12, which is 75%. And let me say bg gray dash 900 so that I can just see where it is. And then let me say padding on the y of 2 so that we have that. But that doesn't work because this is technically a flex item. So let me remove it from that so that we have that. Let me go inside here once again, say rounded dash large, or rather rounded dash full, so that we have a rounded. Okay, and then inside this div, I'm going to return a paragraph, and this paragraph will have a class name of bg dash green. Actually, you know what? A class name of btn so that it has this background color. Okay, and then it's going to have a padding on the y of 2, or rather of 1. Let me see 1. Nope, of 2. Okay, and then say rounded dash full. And then let me remove this, reduce this. Let me say padding 0. Okay, okay. And then set this width to, this is set to 75%. So this is technically 100%. The paragraph is technically 100% of this, even though this is 75%. So if I say this to 75%, it should be fine. So that we have that, and then just change this color to gray dash 200. That's not visible. Let me see what color this has. Okay, it's technically the same. It's almost the same. Let's say 300. Make it just a bit darker so that we have that. Would you look at that? We already have a progress bar using CSS with no JavaScript. Okay, let's go to the next section. Let's go to the next section. So we have about this project. Okay, now this is where things are going to get just a bit interesting, because we have about this project. So this is technically just text. We can add it manually. But when it comes to this is dynamic. So we need to add some kind of a local state which you can fetch our data from. So I'm going to do that. Let me create a section here, a component, sorry, and call this about.js, right? And then just say array fce inside here. Oops. Array fce, return the fragment, return a section. And this section, we're going to have an h3 that says about this project. Is it about this project? And inside this, it's going to have a paragraph that says, remove this paragraph that says this, cut this out, paste it in. Another paragraph that says this, cut it out and paste it in. And then I'm going to grab these two paragraphs as well as this header and then just place them inside a div. And the reason why I'm placing this inside the div is because below this I want to fetch data, fetch our local data which we're going to create, which is going to house these three sections, all of this. Okay, so this should be easy enough. I say that but you never know what happens. Okay, so let's save this. Let me go into app.js and let me render this component. Copy this down, call this about, and then just render it here and say about, like that. Let me see, so that we have this. And let me just style it out. I'm going to go into about.js, give this class the section, sorry, a class name of bg white, and a margin on the x of 2 or 5, sorry, and padding on the y of 10 should be it, and padding on the x of 5 once again, so that this moves inwards. And then add a margin on the top, and this is about 10, so margin top of 10, which will separate it out from this. Add a rounded dash large, and then add a border dash 2, which will give it a border, which is technically the border that each one of these has. So looking nice. Let me go inside this, give this a class name of font bold, and that should be it. And then go inside this paragraph, and inside this paragraph give this a class name of margin y of 5. Separate them out just like that. And then let's say text grade dash 500, let's say 600. Okay, so that's basically it for this about section, right? Increase the size of this, let me say text XL, so that we have that. Now we need to create some kind of local data, which is basically we're just going to be copy pasting from this, so it's not really hard. So I'm going to create, inside my source folder, I'm going to create a new file called data.js, just like that. And I'm going to say import, actually there's no import, I'm going to say const data equals to an object, like that, and then export default data. So I'm going to give this an ID of 1, which is going to, the ID property is going to be our unique key. And then I'm going to say title should be this, right? Place it inside a string. And then I'm going to say pledge, and the pledge is going to be this. Paste it in. I'm going to say description. The description is going to be this. Paste it in, and place escape character right there. Actually, not, instead of an escape character, let me change this to double quotes and double quotes. Place this on the same line. And then once we have that, we should say left, and just say 101 left. And then finally, is it the same for all of these? Select reward, select reward, select reward, and out of stock. So I'm going to say button. I'm going to call this property button. Where is it? Right here. Call this button and say select reward, like that. Okay, yeah, that's looking nice. So we just need to create something similar 2 more times. Change this to ID2, change this to ID3, and then just go back and remove this. Just grab this, oops, paste it inside here. What did I paste inside here? I don't want this. Okay, and then we need to grab this and then paste it inside here, and then grab this, paste it inside here. Make sure this is on the same line so that we don't have any errors to our, wait, what? Really? Is that the correct text? Let me just confirm this. Is that the correct text? Okay, that it is correct. And then here we need to say how many left? 64 left. So 64 left. And the third and final one, remove this. We need to grab this, paste it inside here, remove the space, we need to change this to 200. We get this, paste it inside here, make sure this is on the same line, 0 left, so 0 left, and then the button here says out of stock. Out of stock. So we can remove this. Okay. Oh, no. There you go. I have auto format on, so I don't want to format this because it's going to confuse me. Okay, so I'm going to save this, and now we can go back into about.js, and at the top we need to import our data that I've just created. So I'm going to say import data from, it's coming from data, just like that. And then in order to use this, because we're going to be using state values, then I want to import the use effect hook. So I'm going to say not use effect, but use state. And then I need to set up my state values. So I'm going to say const card and set card. Actually, let me call them cards. And then this equals to use state, and it's going to pass in my data by default. Okay. Now we need to go below this and create a div inside here, and then just fetch my data. So I'm going to say cards.map, and for every single card, I'm going to say I want to destructure the ID. What was it? ID, title, pledge, description. Title, pledge, description, left, and the button. That should be it. There you go. And this is all coming from the card. And then set up my return, right? And for this return is what we want to display on the screen. So I'm going to say return an article here with the key of ID, so that we don't get any errors. And inside here, I'm going to say return an H3 that says the title. And then below this, return a small paragraph that says the pledge, which we're going to style out a bit further. And then return another paragraph that says the description. And then below this, actually, I'm returning paragraphs. So return another paragraph here that says left. Was that a good idea? Was that a good idea? Okay, I know what to do. I know what I'll do. And then below this, return a button that says button with a class name here of btn, so that they have the same color. Now, let me just correct something here, because notice how the numbers here are styled differently from the text. So in order to do that, we need to go back into our data.js and then just remove this text right there. Remove this text and remove this text, so that we can style this differently from how we are going to style our data that is returned, and then just display here left. So save that, and then let's see what we get on our screen. And would you look at that? So we have our 3 items. So we have this, so with select word, and everything is displaying correctly. So let's just begin to style this out. Let's see how this looks. Okay, so this is green. Let me go into index.css. Let me say let me say class of description, and then I'm just going to copy this color, and then just say set this color to this, because I want to be able to give this the text here the class name of the text color of this, right? So I'm going to go into about.js, go inside here, give this a class name of description, so that we get that green background color. And then we say font bold, make it just a bit bolder. Go inside this title, give this a class name of font bold as well, and then say text XL, make it stand out just a bit, too big, text large, make it stand up just a bit. And then go inside this paragraph, give this paragraph a class name of font bold and text 4XL, text dash 4XL. Okay, and then go inside this text here that we rendered, cut it out and place it inside a span. And then inside this span, give this span a class name of font light, right, which will reduce it. And then say text, let's say text small, too small. Let's say text base, and then let's say text I want a gray text of, let's say, 600. And then notice how this is aligned to the center. The number is aligned to the center of the text. So I'm going to go inside this paragraph that houses all of this, right? So inside here, just say flex and then item center, just like that. Look at that, looking amazing. Now let me add a margin. Let me add a margin on the span right here, and I'm going to say margin left of 3, pushed away just a bit from, from the number. Then let's go inside this button, give this button a padding y of 1, padding x of 2, rounded of full. Save that, text white, and let's say padding x of 4. Let me say padding y of 2, padding x of 6, so that we have that. Okay, looking almost nice, Now all I need to do is go inside this article, give this article a class name of border-2, so that we're going to have this the gray border, and then add a padding all round of 5, which would push these inwards. Would you look at that? And then let me go inside this div that houses our data really, and then give this a class name of grid, and grid columns -1, and grid gap of 5, which will push this out. Look at that. And then let me go back inside this article, give this class of rounded -large, so that we have a rounded border for each one of them. And then let me see, what else do we need to do? Just add some margin here and margin here. So go inside this paragraph here, give this a class name of margin y of 4, let's say 5, and then go inside our paragraph here that has our number, and then say margin bottom of 5 as well, which will push it away from the button. Look at that, look at that, look at that. It's looking nice. Now what do we need to do? Now we need to make this just a bit how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? I actually have no idea. Let me go inside my index CSS. Actually, let me go back into about first of all. Give this a class name of data, right? Data. Go inside my index CSS, and I'm going to target the data class, and then target the articles inside, and say for the last child, right? For the last child, meaning this one, I want wait, how is it structured? I want to target the h3, I want to target the paragraphs and the button. Let me target first of all the button. Change this background color to let's say DDD. What's happening? Why is this error here? Article of last child. Why is this error here? What am I doing? This shouldn't be here. I'm forgetting CSS. I want to target the button right there, so this should become grayed out like that. Let me increase the intensity just a bit, so that we have that. Change this to hexadecimal, and then grab this once again, target the paragraph with the class of description, which is basically this. Actually, no, wait, is it? Yes, that's it, with the class of description, and then change the text color to, once again, the same color as our button. remove this. I'm forgetting how to use CSS. Come on. That's not the case. Is that how it is? I don't mind it being like that though. Let me go back inside here, grab this, paste it here, change target the H3 and give it the same color so that this is grayed out. Oops, the H3 doesn't have a class of description, so that it's grayed out as well. And let me remove this. Let me remove this just a bit. And then let me now target this paragraph. So let me go back into about.js and then give this wait. What should I give it? Let me say description inner, like that. Go back into index CSS and comment this, and then just say this class is called description-inner. So no, that's the wrong class. That is the wrong class. I want it here, description-inner, like that, so that this is also grayed out. And actually, you know what? This is also grayed out. Okay, it's also grayed out, so it was correct even as it was. Let me give this a class of description inner, just like that, so that it's also grayed out. Okay, so that's how we are going to do this. So this is fine. Now let's move on to the next section. And the next wait, is the next section the model? We've done the mobile menu. We need to have the model. We need to have the model next. Okay. This is going to be tiresome. This isn't hard really. This is basically the same thing. The only difference is we have entire page and this. So that's not really hard. That isn't really hard. So we have thanks for your support. So once we click continue, then it should give us this model. And this is the model default. The model default. That's fine. Okay, so let's create this. Let me save this to the top. Inside my source folder, I'm going to create a new file and call this model.js, just like that. And then I'm going to go into data.js and then just grab all of this. Wait. Why am I doing that? If it's the same data, then I can just render it. Did someone follow? I can't really see my stream, but I can see Nikolai, Iremia. Thank you for the follow. Thank you so much for the follow. I can't really see my stream, so it might be a bit hard for me to determine whether you followed or not. I can just hear the sign or the follow sound. Okay, so let me go inside. What was I doing? I was doing this. So this is basically the same thing that we have done. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to render the same about component, not the about component, but I need to render this, the component that has our bamboo stand and this and this. So what I need to do is go into about.js and then I need to refactor my code just a bit. So I'm going to take all of this out. I'm going to remove it. So cut it out. And then I'm going to create a new component called, what do we call it? I can't think of a reasonable name. Let me just call it pages. Let me call this component pages. So pages.js and then say array-fce inside here and then just return a fragment and then just paste this in. That would be much easier because so that I can reuse this component many times, because I can see that's what I've done. And then remember, I need to import the data. So I'm going to say import data from my data.js and then I need to import use state. So use state inside here and then set up my state values. So I'm going to say const cards and set cards. It's basically the same thing. You can copy paste it, but I don't mind typing it out once again. And this is good. I'm just going to pass in our data by default. So once I save that, I can go back into about.js and then I can import this newly created component where I'm going to say just render pages here. And remember, I need to import it at the top. And because we're not using state values inside this component anymore, I can just remove it. Remove this import of our data and remove the state value here. And then just say import pages from, and we're in the same folder, so just it's called pages, just like that. So once I save that and go back to my application, then it should still render the same thing. As you can see, it should still render the same thing. Okay, so looking nice. Now what I need to do is, where was I was creating the design model. So this is the model designed by default. Okay, now what makes this model appear? What is the button that makes the model appear? Does it just appear after a certain amount of time? Is it after a certain amount of time, or what? Active states for the model. I can't seem to tell whether the model just appears or, okay, how did I mix this? Okay, so back this project, when I click on back this project, that should show the model. Okay, how did I miss that? But that's okay, we already created that button somewhere right here. So we need to add the model to only show when we click this button. So that shouldn't be hard, but let's create our model first of all. Okay, so I'm going to create a new component. Inside my components folder, I'm going to create a new component called model.js, like that. And I'm going to say array fce, right? That should be easy. And then I want to import my pages component, so import pages from, it's in the same folder, so pages. And then inside here, let me just render my pages component first of all, and then just add a little text here saying back this project. So I'm going to say return here is section with a div and an h, let me say h4, that says back this project. And then inside here, I'm going to return my close icon. I need my close icon. Okay, but the close icon is white. Wait, the close, oh, and I've just remembered I didn't add the close icon here. I'm going to show you how it's pretty neat, very easy to add the close icon when you click this. So let me see if I have another close icon somewhere. Inside my images, I have here mobile, close menu, check SVG, and I have close model. Okay, icon close model. So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to say inside my images, just paste this in, right? So it's called icon close model. So inside model.js, I'm going to import that icon, and I'm going to say import close model from /images, and it's called icon dash close dash model.svg, like that. And then inside here, I'm going to render an image, and the source for this is going to be close model, like that. And what else do we need to do? Let me close this. Where's my, close this pages? Where's my mobile design? No, not this, we are done with this. Where's my, didn't I save the image? Really? The model selected, model default, there you go. So this is the image I want. This is the image I want. would it be worth it to create another component for all of this? Because I can say we have some extra icons here. We have an extra icon, and we have an extra section here, but this really isn't hard to create. Okay, let's just work with what you have first of all. Let me close this, and this. If it does require us to create another data array, that shouldn't be hard. We can just copy paste and change a few things. So inside model, actually I just want to save this and then render it in app.js. Wait. Should I render it in app.js? How do I want to render this? This is difficult. Let me copy this down, change this to model, paste this down, change this to model like that. And we should see, actually I don't want it to render at the bottom, so let me bring it back to the top right there, so that we have our model right there below our showcase, so that we have back this project, and then we have this, and then we have of course our pledges component right there. Okay. So let's see. Let me style our model just a bit. Let me go inside this h4, give this a class name of font bold, font dash bold, right? We have that, and then say text dash XL. Go inside this div, give this div a class name of flex and items center, and justify between. Go inside this section, give this section a class name of bg dash white, and margin on the x of 5, and padding on the y of 10, and padding on the x of 5, and a rounded border, so rounded large, and then say border dash 2, so that we would have this. No, that is not what I want. I want this to appear. I want it to appear inside here. There you go. Now, is there some more text here? Want to support us in bringing Mastercraft Bamboo back this project? So when we are now here, so grab this and then go back into model.js, and below this h4, paste this below this, but this will break, and I know why it will break right there. I don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do is grab this h4 and paragraph, place it inside a div, and that should fix it. But it doesn't, because I don't want this item center here. Oops. That's not what I want anyway. Oh my goodness. This div, let me place this image inside another div, and then let me move item center from here, and it should now behave properly. Okay, let me give this div a class name of margin top of 10, push it down just a bit. Oops, let's say 3, 2, push it down just a bit. Go inside this image, give this image a class name of width dash let's say width dash what, dash 10. Increase the size a bit, let's say dash 5 or dash 6. Okay. And then let me go inside this paragraph, give this paragraph a class name of margin bottom of 5. That should be good enough. Let me add some margin here so that this pushes away from the image. And then I'm going to say what should I say? right inside here, I'm going to say margin at the top of 5. Okay, okay. So now we are met with one obvious issue where we need we only need this to appear when we click this button, and then we need it to disappear when we click this image, this icon really. Okay, how do we solve this? You know what, let me remove this from here first of all, comment this out and comment this out, right? And then let me scale this up because I remembered I forgot to do that. Let me scale this up. Oh, first of all, let me actually change this image. Let me change this image. So let me go into header.js, close this, close this, close this, and close this. Let me go into my header.js right there. And then instead of just rendering the single hamburger icon, I want to import another icon called icon close, should be the name. Icon close dash menu, right? So I'm just going to copy this down, change this to close dash menu, change this to close, right? Now remember that we were toggling our nav bar here using the state values that we set up. So we want to do something similar here, where instead of just rendering this single image, we are going to do a check, and we're going to use the ternary operator where we are checking if is open is true, right? If it's true, so question mark. If it's true, then I want to return the close menu, right? Because it will mean that this is open. So if this is true, then I want to return an image, and the source for this is going to be close that we've just imported, and then the alt is just going to be empty, and let me give it the same class name as this. So just copy this and then just paste it inside here, and then remember to close it out. And then once it is false, meaning we have clicked this to close it, then I just want to render this image. So I'm just going to grab this and then just, you know, paste it inside that. Okay, so now the way this would work is, I think this will break our functionality just a bit. Icon close menu, I didn't import it, I didn't copy it down, so let me copy this and then paste it inside my images here, paste it inside like that, and now it should render. Because this is now true, then okay, that's the gotcha that I was trying to explain a bit. Now because this is we are not really toggling anything on this, so let me just add this, and then let me just paste it here, and let me see if this will work. If this doesn't work, then we will just need to change the boolean values from here, change this to false, and then change this to true. So let me save that. Come on, and would you look at that? So this technically works, right? And I don't want it dancing like that. Why isn't it dancing? I think it's because of this width. Let me reduce it to 5. Okay, there we go. There we go. Would you look at that? It's looking nice. So let me just scale this up, and then I think I'm going to end the stream from there, and then I'm going to continue in the next stream because I'm feeling a bit tired. Okay, so let's see how this looks on bigger screens. Go back into design and then go into desktop design right there, and then oh, this really isn't, it's not that hard. Let's see. Okay, so how do we do this? Let's start with the header first of all. Start with the header and the showcase image. Oops, let me close this down because I don't really need it. Don't save the changes. So let me go into my header.js, not really header, but inside my showcase component. and it's this showcase component. Oops, I'm going to come on inside this showcase component. Then I'm going to import my hero image for the desktop, which should be inside images here, and import image here. So copy this and then paste it inside images. So paste it inside, and then just copy this down and change this to desktop, and then change this to desktop like that. And then here return another section that says the image source for this is going to be desktop hero, right, with no alt attribute. Now once I save this, then it's going to have a problem where we're going to be returning two images, which is obviously not what we want. So we can fix that by giving this section a class name, a tailwind class name of medium. So for about 768 pixels, I want this to be hidden, right? And then obviously this would work because we can't really see smaller screens. But when you go back to smaller screens, you can see we have the desktop image here and the hero image here. So what we want to do here is give this a class name of hidden by default, so that we don't have this, right? And then once this media query changes to hidden, then we want this to show. So I'm going to say that for medium screens, then I want displayed as block, right? Just some simple logic, not really that hard to do to understand. And you look at that, we have our showcase showing nicely. Okay, so let's change our navbar right there, and I'm going to go into header, and I'm going to say that this is going to take quite a while because we need to do a few things, quite a few things. Let me leave the navbar for now because it requires a bit of logic. Now the reason why you see that this is going up to here and not extending all the way is because this is about 1440 pixels and my screen is 1600. So let me fix that by going into this image right here, give this a class name of width dash full, and it should go all the way to the end now. Okay, looking nice. So let me go inside this first section, which I call section 1. And for section 1, I'm going to say that for large screens, then I want the width to be 2/3, which is about 66%, and it will reduce it up to right there. And then I'm going to say that for large screens, once again, I want the margin on the X to be auto, which will now center it. Look at that. And then we're just going to do the same thing for every single project, every single component, sorry. So I'm just going to copy this and then go into my, what is the next one? The backers, right? Go inside this section, paste this in, and it should do this the same, looking nice. And then go inside this next section called about, just paste it inside here, should now reduce it, looking nice, looking nice. Okay, would you look at that? We already created the mobile version, but notice that we need to add some bit of leeway at the bottom here so that you can have a bit of scrolling. So let me do that by going into my about.js and then adding here a padding. Wait. Was it in about or pages? Pages is this component. This is the about. So let me add, instead of padding y, let me add margin y, let me say 20, or margin bottom. That's fine. And you can see we have a bit of margin on the bottom as well. Okay, now I didn't add the hover states for this and the active states, so that's not really an issue. I'm going to do it in the next stream. Now what we need to do is just deal with our header, and this is going to be quite a pain. Sometimes I hate CSS. It has a lot of media queries. Okay, so let me close this down, close. Now, let me import use effect, and the reason for I'm importing use effect is I want to check the width of the screen, whether it's greater than 768 pixels, which is a tablet size. And if it is greater than 768 pixels, then I want this to be hidden. and then I want my navbar to show. So right inside here, I'm going to set up another state value, and I'm going to call this width, and then set width. This is equal to use state, and I'm going to give it a default value of 768. And then I'm going to set up my use effect, where I'm going to pass in an empty dependency array, and I'm going to say, wait, is use effect necessary? Wait, let me just comment this out for now. Just comment this out, and then let me go inside this div, give this a class name of medium hidden, like that, and it should now be hidden. There you go. And then we need this to show by default. We need this to show. So I'm going to say inside here on medium screens, then I want it to be block. That's not how you spell block. So that it should be, wait, does it not show? Does it not show? I can't seem to see it. Let me say inside here, block. Let's see how that sees. Really? Okay, let's go back to use effect, and let's say if the width, wait, if window dot inner width, meaning we're checking for the device width of whatever device you're viewing it on. If the window dot inner width is greater than or equal to our width state value, which is 768, then we want to say, we want to change this from false to true. So we're going to say set is open and set this to true. And then we're just going to say else here, and then say set is open to false. So let's save that, and we should see this. Look at that. Now our navbar appears. Now what we need to do is now reset all of these styles that we put on our navbar. So inside here, we're going to say that for medium screens, which is 768 pixels, that's why I chose this number. I'm going to say display this as relative, like that, and it obviously breaks, as you can see. And then I'm going to say that for medium screens, once again, I want the margin top to be 0, reset it back to the top like that. And then I'm going to say that for medium screens, once again, I want the width to be auto, right? Reduce it, looking nice. Okay. And then I want for medium screens, I want the margin left to be 0. So we are basically just resetting our styles inside here. And then I'm going to go inside UL here and say for medium screens, I want the BG to be transparent instead of white. Save that, and you can see it turns to transparent. And then let's say for medium screens, I want to remove this box shadow. So I'm going to say shadow. Is it shadow none? Yes, it is. It's shadow none. And then let me say for medium screens, I want the rounded to be none as well. And then for medium screens, I want the padding Y to be 0. So padding Y dash 0. Okay. And then we can go inside these list items right there, and right there. And say for medium screens, I want the padding X to be 0. For medium screens, once again, I want the padding Y to be 0. And it should do that. And then we need to remove the border. So I'm going to say for medium screens, I want the border to be, is it border none? And we remove the border. And then for medium screens, once again, we say text white like that. And then we need to go inside this UL now and say that for medium screens, I want this to display as flex, which will display this as flex like that. And then go inside this 3 list items once again. Say for medium screens, then I want the margin on the X to be 5. Is 5 too big? Let's say 3, so that we have that. Let's see our design, desktop design, so that we have this similar, almost similar, right? Okay. I think that will be it really for our media queries. I think that will be it, because we don't really need to do anything else, because our progress bar is technically working, so this should be fine. And now all we need to do is now import our font, because we didn't really use any font for this project, but they are defined. If I close this, and then if I go into style guide, we should see our font somewhere, which is called Commissioner. So just grab this, and we're grabbing the 400, 500, and 700. So head over into fonts.google.com, right? Grab the 400, grab the 500, and grab the 700. Use the import, and then just grab this, and then go back into index CSS, and then at the top of this, just paste that in, and then change this font into Commissioner with a fallback of sans serif. And that should be it. It should now show in our project. There we go. So we have our font imported. We have it looking very nice, and we basically have that. So this is going to be the basic design of our application. Now in the next video, in the next stream really, I keep saying video because I'm used to YouTube, but in the next stream, what I'm going to do is we're going to create our model. We're going to create the active states and everything else that is remaining for this project. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Nikolai, for the follow once again. It was I really appreciate for having you here with me. And I'm going to be uploading this to YouTube. So YouTube, don't worry, you're going to have this video tomorrow by 6 a.m. I think. And yeah, so that will be it for this stream. And thank you guys for watching. If you're on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe. Thank you.